And we are back for my prediction for the Europa Conference League final, hailing from the stadium with so many different names, but for the purposes of a UEFA competition final, the AEK Arena in Athens in Greece for, like I said, the Europa Conference League final. It is Olympiacos against Fiorentina, the Greek side in their home nation, taking on the back-to-back UEFA Conference League finalists in Fiorentina of Italy. Now, before we get into it, that has to be playing on the Fiorentina players' minds that they got to the Europa League final, the Europa Conference League final, should I say, last year, and went down very narrowly, it has to be said, to West Ham United. And they're going to be looking to bounce back from that disappointment with this game against Olympiacos. But as I just said, Olympiacos in their home nation, they've had an absolutely phenomenal run in this Europa Conference League. Not to say that Fiorentina haven't. Don't get me wrong. You don't get to the final without having a very good run. But you look at the teams that Olympiacos have beaten to get to this final, most notably, of course, Aston Villa, who are, I'm pretty sure they were odds-on favourites going into the quarterfinals to win this tournament. To make it to the final, a great achievement for Olympiacos. Before I actually make the prediction, of course, if you haven't done so already, please do consider dropping a like on this video if you do enjoy my prediction series. Of course, we will be bringing you the big one, the Champions League final prediction for you on Friday morning. So make sure you are subscribed to the channel with notifications on as well, so you don't miss when that prediction goes live. But it is time, as I said, to talk about this final, Olympiacos and Fiorentina. For me, I actually think this is Olympiacos' game to lose. All the bookmakers are putting Fiorentina as the favourites, and obviously I understand that, especially given the fact that Italian sides have obviously done very well in Europe this year, with Atalanta ending by Leverkusen's unbeaten streak to win the Europa League. It'd be a big feather in Italy's cap to win 2 of the European competitions this season. But I just think at home, obviously it's not their home stadium, but at home in Greece, Olympiacos are going to have the vast majority of that crowd in their favour. And it's going to feel like an away game for Fiorentina. And their recent form actually hasn't been great. Olympiacos' form has been very good domestically. Fiorentina's hasn't been that good. They've managed to scrape themselves into a Europa Conference League place for next season. So it all comes down to this game as to which European competition Fiorentina are going to be in next season. If they win the game, they're obviously in the Europa League. If they lose, at least they're still in the Conference League for next season. Whereas for Olympiacos, this is just a real opportunity to win a major trophy for the club. In terms of the actual teams themselves, again, I think on paper, Fiorentina are probably the better side player for player. But you've got to look at the performances of that Olympiacos side. And most notably, El Kaabi up front, who, as things stands right now, is still the top goal scorer in all European competitions this season. And his goals were the reason that they dispatched Aston Villa in that semi-final. So I look at it. I look at the goals that Fiorentina are scoring at the moment domestically. I look at the goals that Fiorentina are conceding domestically at the moment. And I look at Olympiacos, who are scoring goals at a much similar rate to Fiorentina, but are conceding goals at a much lower rate than Fiorentina. And I really don't see any other result than an Olympiacos win. I'm going to go for 3-1. That's just the way I see it. I think both sides will score. As always, the biggest footballing cliche, the first goal is massive in this game. But I think it's Olympiacos that are going to get it. I think Fiorentina will probably look to play possession, try and work an opening, but I think that still suits Olympiacos. They pick their moments. They know when to strike. They're determined. They're passionate. They're driven. They create chances and they score goals. And I think they will just inevitably end up scoring more goals than Fiorentina on the night. I almost went for 3-2. I really did. But like I said, I looked at Olympiacos' defensive record, and I think that's what's going to sway it. Not necessarily the attack. It's going to be the defence. I think Fiorentina's defence in recent times has been a lot weaker than Olympiacos', and that'll end up being the key factor. But that's just how I see it. I think it's going to be a tight game. I really do. But I really do think it's going to be Olympiacos that come out on top. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. The second of 3 massive European finals over the course of the last 10 days. And we'll see it all culminate, of course, at Wembley on Saturday for that Champions League final. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on my prediction on that on Friday. Thank you very much for watching as always. I'll see you there.